Have you ever been in a relationship where money wasn't just paying the bills, but also about power, control, and keeping you stuck? Today, we're talking about financial abuse. I know, rosy topic as usual. What is financial abuse? Financial abuse doesn't always look like someone taking your money. It can be a lot more subtle and insidious. It's about control over money, and this can mean resources and ultimately control over you. So covert narcissists use financial abuse in 3 key ways. Now take these down. Number 1, to make you dependent on them. Number 2, using money as a tool for manipulation and punishment. And number 3, ensuring that you feel indebted and powerless. Like, I love things in threes, but honestly, it's not like having 3 wishes. These are 3 things that you really don't want. And you know what? I experienced all of these firsthand, so let me take you on a ride. Dependence as a trap. So when I started studying, my ex encouraged me to quit my job and rely on him financially. He told me it was because he wanted to support me and help me focus on my degree. What a great guy. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I was giving up my independence. I did let him know that I had this fear and this worry, and even though we'd been together for 3 years, I still had my, concerns. Once I was financially dependent on him, he had all the power and I paid the price. Number 2, the rent-free manipulation. He told me I didn't need to pay rent, but later he used that as a weapon, reminding me how lucky I was and how I had to earn my place by taking care of the house, and that I should be grateful for his generosity. Anytime I asked for respect or emotional support, he'd turn it back on me. I let you live here rent-free and you're still complaining? So 3, money as a control tool. One day he'd be splurging on groceries and gifts, and the next he'd be penny pinching and making me feel guilty for any money that I needed or spending any money at all. I never knew where I stood. It wasn't about the money itself though. It was about keeping me unstable, keeping me unsure, and keeping me controlled. Number 4, withholding as punishment. If I didn't comply with his expectations, he'd withdraw financial support. If I expressed concerns about how he treated me, he'd say I was being entitled. He made it very clear. If I wasn't playing by his rules, then I was going to pay the price, literally. Okay, so you remember in my other video where I said that he really did this big song and dance at the beginning where he really wanted me to think of his place as my place and our place, and it was, it was mine too. Well, he would make it very clear that it was his place. One example of him not thinking of me as a partner is when I was cleaning his Airbnb because the cleaner couldn't come. I offered to help, but I was also stressed as I had a friend staying with us and my ex was sick and I also had uni work on my plate. And even though I was going to do the work that he needed me to do and I was willing to do it, he got really annoyed at me that I was visibly stressed, and I did snap at him because he kept coming and interrupting me. He was shitty at me because I allowed myself to be stressed in front of him and made him feel bad for asking for help. When I was finished for the day, he didn't even say thank you. He was rude and he was giving me the silent treatment. When I went to talk to him, he had a go at me, making him stressed and because of my attitude. I got upset and wanted space, but he kept hounding me and yelling at me, and he was not respecting my request to be alone. He confronted me when I was in the bath, verbally assaulting me for the fact that I was still crying. He said, "Get the fuck out of my house." I was stunned. His house. I felt so stupid. Of course, it's been 3 years, but it's his house. I couldn't believe he said that to me. My friend was borrowing my car, so I just packed a bag and walked out into the night and sat out in the cold in the park by myself and cried. I would rather be there, alone and cold and crying, than with someone that says his house. That was one of hundreds of red flags and instances where I should have left. But I didn't. I kept going along with that, and that was just one demonstration of many nights that went similar to that. But that's the thing with financial abuse, is that it gets you trapped. And, in hindsight and from an objective point of view, I would also say to myself, leave, get out there. It's terrible. It's never going to get better. Come on. But when you're stuck in that, it feels impossible, and you really can't convince us to leave. I know that sounds super dumb, but walk a mile in our gaslit shoes and you'll see that it ain't so easy. So, covert narcissists don't want to just control your emotions. They want to control your ability to leave. That's what financial abuse does. It makes it almost impossible to escape. You're stuck, and they know it. And that's exactly how they wanted you. They disguise it as helping you, or being generous, or just taking care of you. But love doesn't come with conditions, punishments, or running a tally on what you owe them. And when you finally try to break free, they tell you that you're ungrateful or taking advantage of them. Sound familiar? Financial abuse is real. And it's one of the biggest reasons that people stay in toxic relationships so much longer than they should. Don't belittle people when they stay. Don't tell them that they're dumb. Like, come on, it's so clear. I get it. They know that. We know that. Just be there with them. They'll be ready to leave, and when they do, they'll call you. Let them know that they still have that lifeline and that ladder out of that hole. Because as much as it sucks to have to watch someone struggle, it's much harder for them to live in an abusive dynamic. So please have some compassion and empathy, because we all go through this in certain ways. If you've been through this or are going through this right now, I'm sorry, but I'm here. So I'm misunderstood, and I'll see you next time. Love you.